Hello and welcome. My name is Farhana. I am your host for this masterclass, Expanded You, and I can't wait to share this with you. I am just going to make sure that I get the right screens up and to share my presentation. So just give me a second while we do this. You should be able to see that now. So welcome. This masterclass is for you if you are a business owner, a visionary, a thought leader, you might be in some kind of leadership position, and you have really big dreams. And yet you still feel that something is holding you back from reaching and fulfilling your full potential and being the full expression of who you are and who you want to be, and you're not sure how to bridge that gap. This masterclass is for you so that we can understand what that gap is, why it's there, and some of the ways we can work with that. So today we're going to be looking at what a growth mindset is. We're going to understand the stages of being an entrepreneur. It's very easy to take the stages of being an entrepreneur. If you're not an entrepreneur and if you're just in leadership, it's very easy to kind of see how that links across and what can come up in each stage. We're going to look at your brain-body system, which is really the command center, which unlocks your full potential. We're going to rewire. So we're actually going to do a process and we are going to rewire your brain on an issue that is keeping you stuck. I'm going to introduce you to the wealth matrix methodology, and then I'm going to introduce you to my group program, Portal of Expansion. So I am a psychologist in South Africa, and I've been a psychologist in South Africa for over 20 years. I'm the Wealth Matrix mentor and the founder of the School of Expansion. I'm trauma trained. I use brain-based tools such as brain spotting and BWRT. They're not the only tools that I use, but those are some of them. I'm also work around money mindset, and there's more to money mindset, and so I'm certified in sacred money archetypes. I'm a financial trauma coach. I do energy work. I'm trained in systemic work, family constellations, metaphysics, and extensively trained and certified in couples work and relationship work. I'm also certified in heart math. I do hypnotherapy and emotional freedom technique. This is not a full list of all the things that I am qualified in or I incorporate into my practice, and into my business, but it gives you some idea of my background. For the full list, visit my website. Most of my information is contained on these slides. I do that so you can easily follow along. You can pause it and you can take notes down. Sometimes I do look at it because it's a reminder as well for me to make sure that I'm covering all the different points. I'm not directly reading off of it, but I certainly I did put it together, so I certainly am going to be looking at it and remembering. So who am I? Again, I live in Johannesburg, South Africa. I love coffee, chocolate, bubbly, and summer. My motto is be kind and gentle to yourself. That does not mean take your own bullshit and take your own bullshit excuses. My other motto is both and. There's very little in life that is either or. Most things in life are both and. I have helped hundreds of business owners, leaders, using scientific processes to clear their blocks to success and to expand their next level you and their next level version of them in life, business, relationships, and money, as well as embodying the, the future self that they really want to become, and to bridge that gap so it doesn't feel as though there's something that it's something that they're reaching and trying to get, but to bring that version of themselves into the here and the now, so they're living and being this version of who they are. And all of this while taking care of their mental and emotional well-being and making sure their nervous system is regulated. I have appeared in podcasts, radio. I was a resident psychologist on a TV show, and I've written in various online and paper magazines. So when we're looking at mindset, when we're a leader, when we're an entrepreneur, when we're wanting to grow, we have to make sure that we're living from a growth mindset. And a growth mindset means that we're constantly learning and we're engaging, that we are being curious about the world and we are being curious about information and what exists in the world. We also are curious about developing ourselves and working with our own stuff, our own um, limitations. And sometimes we have to accept those, but also sometimes we can go like, oh, that's interesting. Didn't realize that that was in my way. Let me see if there's something that I can shift in that. I want to be very clear. There are certain isms that do exist. Discrimination does exist in this world. Institutionalized racism, sexism, all of that does exist in the world. And we have to learn to navigate that if we are in that in those spaces and if we encounter them. And there might be people who are here really trying to changing all of that. So it's really important to know that we are all on different spaces because of all of these things, and to understand where we're at, and then to know that we can still thrive and succeed with all of these as well. So it is really important that we put in the effort, that we take the time, that we invest in ourselves, we invest in our learning, we invest in our future, and we make the effort of making ourselves better. We are not practicing to be perfect. In fact, perfection is often one of our biggest things that can sabotage us, trying to live in some kind of perfection, whose ever version of perfection that is. But we have to focus on wanting to be better. We have to embrace challenges. Challenges are going to exist, and we have to embrace them and learn to build our resilience, which is really our ability to keep bouncing forward and to not take things that are normal and that you are going to encounter as you up level as something that is personally against you. You are going to make mistakes. You are absolutely going to fail. And it really is important to see them as learning opportunities, not as I have done something wrong and I am a failure, or this means my business is going to fail. It is all steps to success. And then we've got to be open to feedback. So be aware of how we give feedback as well as how we receive feedback. So in my view, there are 4 areas and 4 kinds of businesses. And I just want to tell you a little bit about them and and try and identify where you are fitting in. And then I will also share if you are in these 4 businesses, some of the things that you might be experiencing. And remember that growth and healing and expansion occurs on different levels and different layers. So it's really important to understand where you're at. So a startup, if someone is pivoting, some of the things that they might be experiencing is the lack of clarity, self-doubt, feeling that they have too much of information, they don't know how to put it all together. They might have visibility challenges and money stories. Then you've got the growth and scaling. So people in growth and scaling are looking at their worth and understanding what their worth is, getting to understanding that they need help and understanding what that help might look like. They might also be experiencing burnout and feeling quite overwhelmed. And money stories is something that kind of occurs at any stage of business, and it's something that we have to be working on continuously all the time. And when I talk about money stories, there's lots of information I can give you around that, but that's not the focus for today. Then we have a business where there is stability. And where there is stability, it means that you have reached a certain level, you're getting the right kind of money in, you're getting clients, but you have to make sure that you're not leading to burnout, you're not getting bored, because then you start sabotaging yourself. And some of the issues that you might also be looking at is the meaning and the purpose. Once again, always money, and creating a work-life balance, because to get here you might have had to work really hard and you might have to just relook, what is my work-life balance here? And then once your business is in this really flourishing place and you are really visible in the world, people know you, you might have a very clear sense of how to scale, and you can do that very quickly. You've got your support systems in place. The thing that you might be needing to look at is your reason why, and to understand that there are trolls and to navigate those trolls, because it can be really, really difficult. Because for most people, most entrepreneurs, most leaders are putting themselves out there in this really beautiful place, from a really beautiful place, wanting to make impact, wanting to make a difference, but the world doesn't always respond from that place. Also, when you're at this place of flourishing, some of my clients, they come to me and they kind of go, I'm in this beautiful place, but there's still a few little things that I might need tweaked. So we go off and tweak them. The other thing that people come to me when they're in this place of stability and flourishing, they're often very similar, is I want to step into my next level. I'm really scared of losing my identity. I'm really scared of becoming someone else. And we don't actually lose our identity in these places. We can become more of who we are, and we can choose. Then there's all the reasons that we started our business, all the reasons that we moved to get here, those are now taken care of. So we have to find a new reason why, and we've got to find a new meaning and a new purpose, which can be really challenging and can cause a lot of anxiety. Because maybe this is moving from a 6-figure to a 7-figure business, or maybe it's moving from a 7 to an 8-figure business, or maybe it's that decision around, do I actually just want to stay where I am? Do I really want to have that 8-figure business? Because an 8-figure business might mean that it's a proper company. And these are some of the questions and the conversations that people have at this stage. Also, what people are looking for throughout, and what's really important is to understand that we cannot do any of this alone. We're not meant to. So we always have to make sure we've got the right support, whether that support is tech support, whether that is personal growth support, whether it's business support, whether it's someone who, like me, who can understand all those different levels. And even though I'm not an expert like in tech, for example, but I understand it, which means I can kind of go, okay, I think that's what you need to work with. Or we can go, that's where you want to go. Let's see what the gaps are. Is it a visibility? Is it imposter syndrome? Oh, actually, you've done all that work. So it's about expanding your comfort zone, expanding your nervous system, expanding you into that next dream, whatever that next dream might be. So some of my clients, their next dream is writing a book, and they're like, oh my gosh, I've done all of this stuff, but the thought of writing a book and I have all of this anxiety. Some of my clients, it's, oh wow, I've done some work, I've got my business, and now I just need to get to that next place for me, and I don't know, I just get really, really scared when I'm doing that. So the work that we do and the work that we need to do is both internal and external. The internal work is looking at your motivation, looking at the inner stuff around visibility, looking at the communication, looking at the beliefs, the mindset, trauma, if there's any core wounds, a core identity, relationship with self, relationship with others, the values, and building that resilience. So resilience isn't just about, oh, we just keep moving forward, but it's kind of like, oh, I don't have to carry the stuff. I've done that. I've got my stripes and I can move on. And we're building and moving and creating new baselines as we go along. So we're not just pushing ourselves forward. Our external work that we need to do is looking at our tech, making sure that we're taking our partners and our children along, taking our action, looking at our visibility, the actual actions towards our visibility, and making sure we have the proper support. So when I work with my clients who are in leadership and in business, I generally look at the mindset. We look at high performance. We look at money mindset. We look at getting you to where you want to be and what that journey would look like. from an inner work perspective, from resetting our past experiences, from rewiring our brain body system, from embodying our future self. That is what we're doing by integrating and bringing what we desire into the here and the now, helping our nervous system cope, rewiring our limbic system so it knows that it's safe, stepping into and embodying an expanded comfort zone so that we're not kind of fighting and pushing all the time. Because if we do that, at some point our nervous system is going to go, hell no, no way am I doing this. And we're going to go into burnout, we're going to self-sabotage, we're going to see things not working. And so we need to look at what's happening inside. So we can manage and respond to things that happen in the world and will happen in the world of being an entrepreneur, because there are certain things that we can guarantee. You are going to have visibility blocks. You are going to get trolls if you're working online. You are going to doubt yourself. You are going to have to look at your marketing. You are going to have to look at that. And so these are natural things that occur, and we have to make sure that we don't take them personally and we don't let them get to us. We have to look at our limiting beliefs and patterns. We have to look at any trauma, loss, anxiety, any phobias, fears, anything that's happened in our childhood, any adult disturbances, our relationships. We also have to look at our shadows, the things that we don't want to look at in ourselves, things that we don't want other people to see. And we have to acknowledge that we're not perfect and we're never going to be perfect, and that's never our goal. And we have to focus on self-trust, following our intuition, looking and building our intuition, because our intuition grows as we do. We might have to look at our core identity and how to respond to things and to change our response, because we can actually change our response from a process perspective, from things that are happening in our brain and our command center. And we're going to do that a little bit later on in our presentation. And we have to take aligned action. And here's the thing about action. Sometimes we just have to be focused on what our action is and just do the things that need to be done. Put one step in front of the other. Carry the water to cook the meal. The things that we need to do every single day. It doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be, oh, this is totally going to be amazing. But it's those steady, focused actions that we need to look at. We need to look at our visibility blocks. We need to see how we procrastination, if we're procrastinating, and what that is really about. Do we have any receiving blocks? Can we truly hold receiving money, keeping money? Can we truly hold receiving clients, keeping clients, and trusting that we can truly serve them? We need to look at our core identity. What are the beliefs that we really have about ourselves? As you presenting, as you sharing your message, what is that conversation at the back of your mind? What is it saying to you? Does that really serve you? That's your core identity. We need to look at imposter syndrome, understand what it is, and neutralize it. Culture blocks, constraints, all those isms, because there really are isms in the world, all those isms exist. We need to acknowledge them. We need to see the ones that we want to hold on to, the ones that we want to properly fight, the ones that we kind of go, they exist. But guess what? I'm not taking those on personally. And we have to have that growth mindset. Be clear about your message, be clear about what you're doing, who you are. Up-leveling your intuition, like I said earlier. We need to look at trauma, patterns, fears, dreams, right? Because you can't do one without the other. You can't be only looking at all the stuff in your past, all the things in your way, without looking at where you want to go. You have to look where you want to go, and you have to embrace it and feel yourself being pulled towards it, and help yourself to get there. Help your nervous system to get there, unless you cannot do on your own. How to deal with trolls, your anger, and your relationships. So the wealth matrix methodology is what I use, and it's really where I combine science and spirituality. Science, we're looking at heart science, we're looking at soul science, we're looking at the ancestral, generational, and past life healing, as well as the gifts, as well as the trauma that each of these might bring into your world. Recently, for example, I did I'm always working on, I'm always working on my inner, and then especially when something I'm putting out there or I'm looking at, and I'm kind of going, something is happening inside me when I'm doing that. So off I go when I find what that is. Sometimes I can do that on my own, but sometimes I need support. So I recently connected to a trauma that my soul had. My soul had a trauma that was brought into this lifetime. And that, understanding that and helping my soul heal, could then lead me and my soul to be free, right? And then I use brain science, and as I spoke about earlier, action. So we look at the subconscious blocks that are keeping you small. And the subconscious blocks could be in this lifetime, another lifetime, your ancestors, your soul. Always try and start as simple as we possibly can, see what we can change as quickly and as simply as we can before we start digging deeper. And when I talk about subconscious, I'm really talking about the stuff that is in your limbic system, in your reptilian brain, because there's no such place as your subconscious. So in your limbic system and in your reptilian brain, which is your first level brain, and I will tell you about that just now, that's what we're wanting to change. So that the way your brain processes this, the meaning that your brain makes, which then leads to your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, that's where we want to bring the change in. And so the embodiment, because then that what needs is that embodiment of the place that you're wanting to go to, of that future. We're bringing that into the present. We're allowing your nervous system and your comfort zone to feel it and to expand into it, so that that future doesn't seem so far away, but is actually in the here and the now. And it's who you are. So it's a combination of being who you are and being who you're becoming. And that's what we're aiming for. So I can't give you all the information and all the science on all of those different aspects in this masterclass. I'm just choosing one, and we're going to be looking at the science of the brain. So our brain thinks the same thing 99% of the time. And 97% come from the superconscious, from the subconscious, so subconscious, not superconscious, from the subconscious. This is really from that reptilian part of our brain, the part of our brain that is all about survival. That part of our brain just wants to keep us safe. Its only job is to keep us safe, keep you alive. Simple as that. It, however, wants to heal. It also knows how to heal. It just needs the right conditions. Our brain is the most amazing thing. Our brain knows how to move through trauma. It knows how to regulate itself through trauma. It knows how to, and once again, I can tell you, I can go into a whole presentation about trauma and creating safety and moving through trauma and what we're wanting to do and what's happening in our nervous system, but I'm not going to do that in this presentation. But it is important to know that our brain knows how to heal. But because of the world that we live in, societal judgments, our pressures of time, the constant need to do things, our need to make money, we don't give our system the space to do that, which means that we need to have our interventions. We need to have our healing modalities. We need to have our expansion modalities to help us heal. So when we give our brain the right conditions, our brain knows what to do with them. So we need to help our brain through this. Another thing about our brain, and different research has shown different things, which is why I'm putting this bracket in place. There is a 0.1 second to an 11-second delay while when we're getting stimuli our thoughts, stimuli are things that are happening in the world, what we encounter in the world. There's a 0.1 to an 11-second delay before we respond, before we react to it. I know, it actually does exist. Kind of questions our free will, kind of questions all of that. If we look at all of this, all of that things, all of those come into question. But the beauty of all of this is that all of this can change when we go to the right places. When we change the right parts of our brain, so much of this can change. And that's what I mean when I say we're constantly changing our baseline. Because once we change it, we don't go back. We can't go back. Because the way our brain functions, the way our brain processes, the neural pathways have completely changed. We just need to help it. So once our brain gets stimuli, just data, just information, that could be a thought, that could be an event, that could be a conversation, that could be watching your partner do something, that could be sending out an email, just data, it scans itself for similar situations and decides how to respond. It will choose a response that didn't kill you. Doesn't mean it's the healthiest response, the best response. It'll choose, and when I say response, it's that first place is that inner response, right? That first place is that inner response before we can do any outer response. Sometimes that inner response becomes our outer response. Sure, you've had times of those. Sometimes your inner response becomes your outer response, and then it moves to your neocortex, and your neocortex is like, why did I just do that? I don't understand. Because there's a 0.04 second delay from that information making sense on this other part of your brain before it can go to your neocortex. Sometimes we catch it, sometimes we don't. So all information first enters through the reptilian brain. All information, all data first enters through the reptilian brain. And this is the oldest part of our brain. And its only purpose is this a threat or non-threat? If this is a threat, do I go to fight, flight, fawn, which is people pleasing, or freeze under that threat? Yep, all the information. And based on that, it decides how you're going to react. And this all happens in the reptilian brain, in the amygdala, before it goes anywhere else. Okay? So we can't think ourselves to success without working on this other piece as well. So when we have a thought, this cycle occurs. When we encounter something, this cycle occurs. And if it isn't safe for you on some level to be successful, to be seen, to put yourself out there and be visible, to take that risk, if it is not safe, your brain is not going to allow you to succeed. It's going to sabotage you. And maybe that's what's happening in terms of the success that you're wanting. Your brain is just kind of going, this isn't safe. But no amount of telling your brain that it's safe over here is going to make this back part of your brain feel safe. And that part of your brain is going to send a signal to your entire body, this is not safe. This is not safe. This is not safe. And until we make this part of our brain see it in a different way, so that it can send a signal to the rest of our body going, this is safe. This is safe. This is safe. We're going to keep sabotaging ourselves. Right? So to create success, our brain-body system, our command center, needs to feel safe. And we need to help it to do that. So I want to do a little process with you so you can see how we do that, how we change that, how we create that new rewiring. Few things I want to say is, in this process, you're going to do it with your eyes closed until I tell you to open it. I want you to work on something that happened in the last 24 hours. I don't want you to work on any big trauma because I'm obviously not there, and we're not in a live session, so I can't see what's happening in your body, and I can't see the exact process to be able to hold you in that way. So I want you to choose something that happened in the last 24 hours. I wanted to have a discomfort feeling of about 7. So 0 is totally not totally not uncomfortable. 10 is like, oh my god, that's a biggie. I want you to work on something at around 7. You can change what you think, what you say, what you feel, and what you do. We cannot change someone else, because if you change it in your brain and the other person is not there, the other person's going to react the way they always react, and you're going to go, but in my head you did it differently. No. So we can change only what's within our control, and that is what we say, what we think, what we feel, and what we do. Okay. It is the process is I'm going to get you to freeze something so we can catch it before your brain scans. We're going to give it new information. Your brain does not know, this part of your brain does not know the difference between chronological time and, well, doesn't know chronological time. So once it's given a new healthier option, when it scans itself, it always will choose the healthiest option. Okay, we're going to create something in the future, because the future means gives our brain evidence, because it doesn't know chronological time. The future gives our brain evidence that it is safe. So we want to create a future. We are going to create new neural pathways by looping. Okay, I'm going to take you through this process. All right, so close your eyes and take a nice deep breath in and exhale for longer. And another breath in and exhale for longer. And now I want you to think about that memory that we are working with that happened in the last 24 hours that makes you just uncomfortable. And I want you to really be in that memory. I want you to feel everything around you. I want you to hear it. Be in there. Hear the sounds. And just notice from 0 to 10 how upsetting that is to you. And now I want you to zoom in to the worst part of this bad memory, whatever that is for you. I want you to zoom in to the worst part of this bad memory. And when you've zoomed in, I want you to freeze it. Freeze it so it's absolutely frozen. It's frozen in time and space. You can move. It is frozen. When it's completely frozen, just notice that. Make sure it's completely frozen. Hold your breath and freeze it solid, like an ice block, like a screenshot. And as it's frozen, just exhale. And now I want you to create that new memory or a little video of what you'd like to have happen, prefer to have happen, would have wanted to have happened. Remember, you can change the way you think, what you feel, what you say, and what you do. So just create that new memory. And if it makes you feel better, just think about where you are right now. If it doesn't, you just redo this process. So if it makes you feel better, just think about where you are right now. Bring all those nice feelings to where you are now. And now I want you to jump to the future. It could be tomorrow, it could be next week, it could be next year, in 5 years, 10 years. And I want you to create a fantastic memory doing absolutely anything you want. Doesn't have to be related to what we're working with. Just create a really beautiful memory. And I want you to slowly zoom in to the best part of this memory as you look back and remember a time you realize that this no longer affects you anymore. And notice how good that feels. And just let your entire body feel how good that feels. As you're in this beautiful memory and you look back to remember a time you realize that whatever we're working on doesn't bother you anymore. And now we're going to go a little bit faster, so just try and keep up with me. I'm not expecting you to. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to that better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Jump forward to that fantastic memory in the future. Look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. Go all the way back to old frozen memory. Rush forward to the better memory. Let the better feeling flow through your body. Think of where you are now. Now let these pictures loop around inside their head and let them slowly fade away into where they're supposed to fade away into. And when you're ready, just open your eyes, take a nice deep breath in, exhale for longer. Look around your room, wherever you are, and just name out aloud 5 things that you see. And out aloud, just recall what you had for your last meal and whether you enjoyed it or not, and what the taste was and what it felt like. And take another nice deep breath in, exhale for longer. Close your eyes again while we just go check where we are and just go a little bit slower. So go all the way back to that old frozen memory. It's probably come down quite significantly. Just make a note, a mental note of that. Where it is now from 0 to 10. Where 0 is not upsetting and 10 is very upsetting. Just notice where it's come down. And feel how nice that feels now. And then just go into your better memory, the one you created instead. And feel all the feelings in that better memory. Notice that you're doing it differently, feeling differently. As long as the memory was plausible, possible, and fair, you'll notice a significant change. And just feel that. And notice how good that feels in your body and where you feel that. And then jump to that future memory. And really be in that future memory. Really feel it and be in it. And you look back and remember a time you realize this no longer bothers you. And how good that feels. And then going back to that old frozen memory, notice that it's probably even come down even more now. And just notice that, notice the new feelings that are there, or the detachment that you now feel. And then just go into that better memory and really feel it and be in it. Feeling yourself and being in that better memory and how good that feels. And then just jumping to that future memory, just being in it and feeling how good that feels. Noticing where you feel it in your body. And bring all of those feelings into the moment of now where you are sitting. And open your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in and exhaling for longer. And with your eyes open, I want you to look back now to the memory that we worked with, the memory that occurred in the last 24 hours. And as you think about it now with your eyes open, just notice how different that feels in your body now. Sometimes we just need to do one of these to create a whole new neural pathway. Sometimes, because an entire neuro system has been created, we need to do a few more memories and different pieces of a memory and different pieces of similar memories to completely clear that whole new way to that whole old neural pathway, that entire neural system, and create a brand new system. A brand new system can be created so that the way we process things can completely change and we can completely neutralize it or give ourselves a new experience. Isn't that cool? So BWRT is one part, one way that we're using it, and obviously when we're in a group process, I can connect, I can see what people are doing. This is a recorded version, and I would love to hear what you think about it, and well, what your experience was. It really is a powerful experience, and it's the way I've overcome so many of my reactions and the way I take my clients through that, especially as they step more and more into the version of themselves that they would really like to be and how they would like to respond in different situations, and as they experience things that are pretty normal in the environment of being a business owner and a leader and a thought leader. So who are my clients? My clients are so led and driven, often already have some success. They're ready for more. They had some things happen in their past that they know they may need to resolve. They've done some work already. In fact, some of my clients have resolved everything in the past. And so now what we're doing is just keep embodying, keep expanding their comfort zone as they move more and more into the versions of themselves and their next levels of where they want to go. They're often women, and not only, but often women who knows that she is meant for more, and they know that they need support, that they can't do this on their own. They don't want to do this on their own. And they want someone to be with them, holding their vision and helping them embody it. They're looking for their next level in life, business, money, success, and they really enjoy personal development work. They've had some level of trauma or some level of awareness that the body doesn't feel safe. They overthink and overfeel. They want to make impact, but sometimes overthink. And they don't step fully into their own authority. They have a level of self-trust, and they know they want more. She knows her dreams, and something keeps her keeping small. Whether it's in all areas of the business or maybe it's the next level. Like, got a client who's writing a book and she's like, I just can't do it. Just can't do it. And it's about stepping into and embodying so that your entire brain body system feels it, is it. And it's not something that you are becoming, but it's this beautiful bridge of bringing what you're becoming into the now, helping your limbic system navigate that so that you are now free in the here and the now to make those choices, to take those steps. And she's very aware that the journey is an evolution. It's an evolution, and we always have to be evolving, reinventing, re-inspiring, and growing, and keeping the beauty of who we are, because we don't need to lose that. We can be fully who we are and successful. So some of what my clients say, I am going to read this because I don't know this in my head. So this is from Nadia. I moved from self-sabotage, a fear of putting myself out there, to knowing how and when to share my vulnerability. I developed an ability to say no and yes in order to focus, being able to deal with conflict, criticism, and being challenged. So I can now show up fully in my business and life. This is from my client, Gabby. I love working with science and spiritual, and that's what working with Farhana was. The best thing was also that it was future focused, where I wanted to go next. As entrepreneurs, we always feel we're on the cusp of our next level. It can be a little bit intimidating. It can be a little bit scary from a self-trust perspective. not only to lead yourself, but also to lead your children and your business. I had such a profound shift in my self-trust, and I could actually visualize and step into what I had been so scared of before. It was such a simple and straightforward approach to getting the results I desire. Farhana has an amazing energy where you feel really, really safe, and she is so neutral. And from my client Rebecca, where we worked one-on-one, working with Farhana on nervous system regulation was super interesting. Our body has its own brain. In the sessions, family stuff came up and boundaries. It's so interesting how it's all connected. Ever since our session, I feel more calm, more grounded, more at ease, less triggered, and really expanded into this new level of me. I feel on top of my game more than ever. What would have crippled me before didn't. I feel really empowered and ready for the next level. She so embodied and really held a space so my system could do what it needed to do. So I have an offer for you. I want to invite you to join my group program, the Portal of Expansion. This is an 8-week group program where we will shift the impact of the past experiences. We will expand your comfort zone, and so that you can embody your future today. In the Portal of Expansion, the 8-week container, we will reset, activate, and embody the next level you. We work with the past, the present, and the future. We will do some timeline healing. We will rewire experiences of the past that you haven't resolved yet so they can be truly neutralized and reset. We'll activate your wishes and your dreams. We'll neutralize any kind of imposter syndrome, anything holding you back around your self-esteem and your self-worth. We'll unlock your comfort for your next level pricing. We'll truly connect to your ideal clients, and we'll use some soul connections to do that. We'll expand your nervous system, your comfort zone. We'll give you and activate your gifts from your ancestors, and we'll fully embody that future version of you so that you can take that focused action from that deep place of self-trust. What you get are weekly sessions. These will be held live, and of course they'll be recorded. We'll use the wealth matrix methodology, so we'll incorporate all the different pieces as required. We'll rewire, reset, and expand. There's a dedicated Facebook group where you have community, and of course there's support from me. There's some bonuses I'll tell you about just now. We'll upgrade your command center, which is your brain-body system, so it's working for you, that it's processing in a way that is helping you, so you don't have to keep fighting it. You don't have to try and get your neocortex, your frontal brain, to try and help this old brain. We'll just rewire, reset your old brain. We'll work with your nervous system. We'll expand your comfort zone as you step and embody the next level you, moving from imposter syndrome to self-trust and receiving your gifts. Your bonuses. The wealth matrix is a grid that I see around us. So we're going to do some wealth matrix activation. That's a bonus. You're going to get my Meet Money visualization. You're going to get my mini course, Become a Money Magnet. And you're going to have the most incredible community in the Facebook group. And in the Facebook group, you can put in any question that you're working with, and I will answer them. And if I feel there's certain processes that we might need to do, because there might be themes that come up, because this is a live program, this is the beauty of it, it's live, I will then either hop onto the Facebook group and we'll do a process, or we'll do it in our next live session. The idea is to really fully shift what we need to, reset our limbic system, rewire it, and expand it so that you can really move into and embody that next place that we're in. And you get all of this for just $1,200. So it's 8 weeks to safely work on activating your next level, rewiring your experiences of your past, resetting them, expanding your comfort zone, and stepping into your future you today. And of course, the bonuses. So all you have to do is go ahead and click the button below to sign up, and we will be in touch. Space is limited, doors close soon, and it's just $1,200. This time, the price increases after this round. And I truly can't wait to see your journey, to see the shifts that you make, and to support you in this. Thank you. Take a nice deep breath in. Exhale for longer. And just let all that you learned, all that's been stirred up, all that's been shifted, just give it the space that it needs. And I look forward to seeing you in my program.